festivities tomorrow. Last night, from a standpoint of wanting a great final and a standpoint of wanting to see Cleveland get a championship, it was a very disappointing night. Now, you have to be a very unique player for somebody to say this, but I was disappointed in LeBron James last night. Now, you're looking at it, you say, what are you, nuts? 44 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 44, 8, 6, what are we kidding? No, because last night, they needed to win that game. And that was before we found out about the Irving injury. And the only issue I'm taking is I don't have any problem with anything that went on during the game. None. The only issue is on the final play of the game when he had a chance to get the last shot. And Shumpert almost made a rebound basket that would have been a remarkable play, and it almost went down. But the problem I have is he was so good going to the basket last night. He was so good, and not as good against Iguodala, as we know, but he was so good going to the basket last night, and so aggressive going to the basket last night, and getting points in the paint and moving forward. The only issue I have, and it's a big one, is you cannot have a bad fall away, off balance, where Iguodala made you catch it deep and forced you to take a bad shot with the game on the line. I don't care if it was close, it was a bad attempt. Instead, what he had to do at that juncture, and it was imperative that he do it, he had to get the ball into the paint and be going forward where either he gets a direct look in the paint at the rim or he goes to the foul line. One or the other in that spot, not a fall away. Not a fall away in that spot. And he had been so good at going into the lane and dropping the ball into the basket last night and doing it repeatedly. I mean, he embarrassed Green. Iguodala plays him very well. Iguodala's had a career of playing him well. We know that, as well as anybody in the league can play him. But the point is, that was what he settled. And you can't, I know the game's tied, and you know you're figuring, all right, if I miss, I go to overtime. Not good enough. You don't want to go to overtime there. You don't want any part of overtime there. They are the deeper team. They have more weapons. They're home. You don't want them to go to overtime there. You want to win it in that spot. And that's why it's imperative that he got a better look than he did. He got a bad look. Shumpert almost made a play that would have made Shumpert legendary because he almost made a follow-up that would have been a remarkable play if he had done it, and he almost did. And it would have been good if it had gone. But I was really after a sensational performance by LeBron, a dominant performance by LeBron to that point in the game. And they got a terrible call on the Moscow walk. That was a joke. That was an absolute joke. That's a made basket. That was a terrible officiating move at that point. That is, in the way they play this league, that is not a walk. That was a terrible call. But you live with that. And Irving made an incredible block after he got beat by Curry. Really one that would have been a very talked about play had they won in regulation. But listen, if LeBron missed the shot, he missed the shot. It's got to be his shot. It's got to be going to the basket. It's got to be an aggressive move in the paint at that point, and that's what I have a problem with. And now they lose game one, which would have been bad on regular terms, and now is probably incredibly damning because it looks like a team that is weak to begin with will now play without the only other good player that they have in Irving, because it sounds like Irving leaving the building on crutches, and we await the news that he's probably gone for the rest of the series. So the odds on them winning that series now have gone from, you know, a chance, a good chance, but a chance, to now being very remote, because if they're going to play the series without Irving, it would take a mind-boggling performance. And listen, I'm sure they'll have their moments. I'm sure they'll have a game or two in Cleveland they might be able to pull out. Maybe they shock somebody in Golden State. But the fact that the idea that they're going to win 4 of the next 6 without Irving is going to be very difficult. No matter, I don't care if LeBron scores 50, and he may have to get a victory in this year. 44